That's why you'll see on the video, like when I'm cycling, like pretty much the entire 2 to 3 neighboring towns know about my ridiculous vehicle plate. So when they see me on the bike, everybody honks at me. And like, no matter what the rain is, like I walked into the store yesterday soaking wet, and the store owner, my cousin's wife, just burst out laughing because she knows exactly what happened to me, and stuff like that. But you know, my brother was there too, and he was having a chuckle. You know, and to me, I'm like, it is funny. You know what I mean? Like, I got soaking wet. I said, yeah, but I made a record time today because Merwin, he jammed on the brakes with his truck. He said, throw it in the back. I said, okay. You know, and people do stuff for you just because, you know, like, for example, I work too much. I never have time to fix my broken stuff. So everything I have is in a state of disrepair, broken, breaking, or about to break down, right? That's everything I own pretty much, right? But as they say, it's not the dog in the fight, it's the fight in the dog. I'm still at work on time. I got to work 1 day a week where I got to work the furthest. It's probably about 24 to 26 kilometer round trip. That's not nothing. You know, it's not nothing on a 50-pound bike, you know, a 48-pound bike. That doesn't quite fit me. If it fit me, the weight wouldn't matter as much, right? But the thing is people are like, he still goes to work. And I keep getting the question, how do you do it? How do you keep pushing? I wouldn't be able to do that. And I'm like, yeah, you could. Sure, it's mindset, mind over matter. Now you gotta have the health to do it. Now, have I noticed that since I've been cycling again, my joints a little bit less sore? I feel a little more flexible, but I'm sore because I work too much, right? And that has a lot to do with the physiognomy of, and something I'm very concerned about with the bike is not deteriorating my body by overdoing it, which is hard to do when you cycle and then work all day and then cycle back home, right? Now, if you're in the city and you're only like a couple of kilometers from your work and it's all smooth sailing, no problem. When you got this and you're out on the highway, you know, it is a lot more fatiguing, right? But there's an almost enjoyable element of the challenge. It's called struggle. And this, my friends, is what every young boy, every man in the world needs. If not, you will be always focused on yourself to the point of narcissism, to the point of sociopathism. If that's a word, I make up words. I did remind you guys that rain is a lubricant and rust is a bonding agent, right? Yeah, so anyway, yeah. So I look at things maybe a little different than other people. But I also like the mileage under the tires because the accomplishment. It's when you fight that storm, and I've been caught in the rain on bikes many times, and it's just, as soon as it rains, the last thing I think of is, oh, I gotta get somewhere dry. I'm just like, push through, just watch the roads, don't skid out. Why? Because that's what's important. Sitting there being super miserable because I'm soaking wet and whatever. In fact, I was quite happy to get rained on yesterday because this has been the coolest day. Today is a beautiful day. Like, just put the thermostat here, get out in the air, and you can't feel bad in this. Like, you just can't. You know, once you get out of your head and you start to relax and you remove all those crutches out of your life, I'm not saying you're gonna become a millionaire and Andrew Tate and all that stuff. No, those guys got a different run and they got lucky, right? They grew up with wealth. I didn't grow up with wealth, but I grew up with a loving family, and my loving family was good enough to grab me by the scruff of the neck, toss me out the door and play with the other kids. So I learned how to socialize. Now, there is no price tag you can put on that. The other thing is that at 52 years old, okay, I've had my ups, I've had my downs, same as anybody else. But how you take the ups and downs is always, you got to kind of understand that it's going to be coming at you at some point, right? You just got to understand that. And a lot of people don't understand that because they've never been taught about it. Like I say, they've never spent the time to learn through socialization you know, exactly what it takes. And I'm here under 45 minutes because the camera's still going. That's great. But this is the short run today, so. But the thing I'm getting at is that I want to see where this kid ends up if I can find his channel again. And, you know, I like to see where he's going to be in a year if he can hold true to not doing the drugs. Get rid of the energy drinks too. Yes, I'm bad. I drink Pepsi. But you shouldn't drink anything more powerful than Pepsi or Coke. Energy drinks, just don't drink them. Like those things, I'll twitch for like... I drank a battery, it was called Jolt. It was literally in the shape of a battery. It was an energy drink that big called Jolt. It was one of the first ones. And that stuff, I don't know what the hell was in it, but for 3 days, my heart was just palpitating. Like, it was just fluttering. I'm like, I'm going to die. I'm going to die. I couldn't sleep. I was just like, never again. I've had a few Red Bulls once in a while, but it's like, I drink that, I won't sleep for a week. Then, gee, why am I tired? Why am I, you know, going a bit schizoid? Why am I, you know, lack of motivation to do anything? It's because you're drained. Get that stuff out. I drink 2 things, water and Pepsi. You know, and the Pepsi's too much. You know, and I limit the amount of Pepsi I drink. And I'm going to eliminate that again. Get that out. And when I only drink water, now mind you, I got good well water too. When I only drink water for like a couple of months, like I'm so calm, so relaxed. But when I need energy, bang, I got it. Now, mind you, I don't have the strength I used to have, you know, like especially after my operation back in 2019. I've lost about half my strength, but I'm still probably in better shape than most people half my age. You know what I mean? I'm still stronger than most people half my age, even though you wouldn't know it by looking at me. It's just because I'm always active, you know. So what I'm getting at is that this kid is making a decision in his life that I know a lot of young men that are going to follow him. And what I hope is he takes it to a positive level. Not, okay, I'm resenting the world because I'm doing this for me now. And that, no, don't do that. Go out there and share. Go out. What that kid needs to do, okay, he's unemployed. Go find the next group ride. You know, just bring enough stuff with you so that, you know, like go socialize with people. It's free, you know, and if you're in the city, you know, you can find all kinds of group rides. You don't have to go racing. Just go on the relaxing group ride. Then if you feel like you can go racing, go racing. And don't obsess about it, you know, because the people with the more money, the more training are always going to beat you. You know what I mean? You know, it takes a lot to get to the top athlete kind of thing. So, you know, that's kind of one of those things. Genetics is going to make more of a difference there than anything. But maybe you are one of those people that can go from the bottom right to the top with natural ability. But if not, just go enjoy yourself. And I think that getting out in the fresh air, that'll take away your anxiety. Plus, you're burning off energy. You got to be careful that you don't overdo it because you could deteriorate your body. Yes, you will get healthier in a lot of ways, but if you don't replace the calories that you're taking away, your body's going to feed off your muscle tissue. It's called canapia. It's like not apathy, but anyway, it basically, once your fat stores are gone, it starts to feed to muscle. So you have to replace those calories. Doesn't mean you go out and buy 10 cheeseburgers every time you go for a ride. But what it means is you gotta figure out how much you're burning, right? So for me, like for example, I don't want to cycle every day, long periods like this, because I know I'm not eating the right way. Yes, I eat burgers and pork chops and stuff like that, but I'm not eating enough to keep my weight in my body from, because there's other things that happen too, is when you say, yeah, well, what's wrong with being really slender? Well, the problem is if you don't have enough muscle on your bones, you end up, you're a candidate for osteoporosis because your bones need weight on them to you know, the less weight you have, the softer your bones get. Plus, when you work really hard, the calcium kind of leaches out of your bones. There's a whole bunch of chemical things that happen to you when you go to the extreme of pedaling and stuff like that. When you're not doing the extreme stuff, don't worry about it. But it's just be aware of it, you know what I mean? But the big one is, yeah, get out in nature. If you get a day like today, it's great. Now, the last couple of rides I did, okay, so I got rained on past couple of rides going to work. and extreme heat. So that's not so fun dealing with that. But it is a challenge, and when you go through the challenge, it seems like it toughens you up. And I'm outside all the time, right? I'm outside all the time, morning till night, because I'm working all the time, right? So remember, you have to relax too, you know. But yeah, if you have high anxiety, get on a bike. It's not going to go away in a day, you know. But after a couple of months of, you know, eating right, stuff like that, burning off the energy, you know, before you know it, you know, like, yes, you'll eventually find a job. Take whatever's out there, work, even if you work part-time, whatever, just get it going, you know what I mean? Not easy to do, I understand that. There's a whole bunch of reasons for that, but I won't get into that. But what I will say is that, yeah, when I watched the video, I felt for the kid, because it's just like, I never done the weed thing. It wasn't my thing. I can't stand the smell of it. But I do understand, you know, like being unemployed and stuff like that, because I know what it's like to be going between jobs, you know what I mean? And I understand the job market is way crazier now than what it was even when I started the workforce in a recession. God, you know, like, I feel bad for anybody, young person trying to find a job now, because it's just so demoralizing to go months without everybody